Welcome to A Gentleman's Take, a video podcast where we offer a more refined and sophisticated view on everything in this journey we call life.
All from the perspective of a gentleman.
I'm your host, J.D. Denbow, and this is my elated co-host,
Mac.
How's it going, Mac?
It's going well.
Alrighty. Happy Friday to you fine folks out there. Here's a little bit of what you can expect today on our show. We're going to cover a variety of subjects and activities and offer our take on them. Or as they say in the common tongue, sitting around and shooting the shit. Is that about right?
That's about right.
Cool. So as we go into our cultured take, I realize as it covers a wide variety of topics, one thing we've not talked about and is very much culture is clothing. So Mac, you have anything for us when it comes to fashion?
Fashion. Well, I think that we have a bunch of different bookends and time frames of what people have worn.
Mm-hmm.
If I look back historically at the different fashion trends that have existed, I would definitely look back at the 1920s as a time period that I love how if I had to put myself in any time frame for how I would like to dress as opposed to the current trend for the time, I would do the 20s. I think that was real cool, getting to wear suits and hats and stuff like that every day. It was
an almost gentlemanly style of fashion.
Oh yeah. I definitely. Somebody actually mentioned that they're the fact that we think we're on Peaky Blinders on this show. I haven't actually seen Peaky Blinders, but I know what they're referring to.
You look like the lead.
And it's that style of clothing I like. I just like it. I mean, I think the greaser look was cool.
Oh, sure.
I don't think I could have done the fashion from the 70s, the bell bottoms and big open shirts, the big, satin whatever shirts they wore.
I thought it was cool, but I agree. A time and place. I would younger, sure.
I think that cool is one thing, but I think would I have been able to wear it? Even hairband, the leather and all that stuff from the 80s, I don't think I could have really rocked that. The grunge phase in the 90s, I mean, I was an adolescent in the 90s, so of course I participated. We were just talking about this the other day where, you weren't cool if you didn't have Genko jeans and stuff like that. The brand that I liked was Paco. Paco brand jeans. I mean, they had big baggy style jeans too, but they weren't as baggy.
Yeah.
As Genko.
I even think they started actually calling them wide leg jeans after the Panko phase. Just wide leg jeans. I so love the wide leg jeans look, the Pankos. And as we phased into the early 2000s, I graduated. I mean, here's how nerdy I was, and I didn't mean to be, but my fashion turned to, I still want the wide leg jeans, but the fashion turned to holes in the pants, pre-cut holes, and fade. I'm like, where's my traditional blue? And that was showing my age there. Well, only thing I could find that had that almost width anymore and that blue, I started buying Carpenter jeans.
Yeah.
And that was
Paco
my trend.
had some really nice Carpenter jeans back in the day. I have one pair of shorts that my wife knows which one I'm talking about. It somehow made it from way back when I first purchased them. They're these really long jean shorts that are just way bigger than they need to be. She's like, why are you wearing the gangster shorts again? But they're just these really long shorts. And my favorite shirt that I used to wear was black, and it had an aquamarine or teal embroidery around the sleeves, but it looked like graffiti on the front of it, and it was long. I'm talking down to my knees, almost long, and it said "crazy about quilts" in the graffiti, but you couldn't see it initially. You had to actually look at it and examine it a little bit to know that it said "crazy about quilts," but it just looked like gangster graffiti, but it said "crazy about quilts," and it was my favorite shirt to wear.
Then we get to today's fashion. What you're
Hipster fashion?
There's a lot more names for it, but we'll just say that. But today's fashion, what still is the ones that look good are, you get somebody up there with a nice suit and tie still representing the older style of fashion in today's world. Honestly, that person just looks sharp. If they're rocking an old school tuxedo, they're sharp. And so again, the old style, it suits better in today's world. Because if you look at actual today's fashion, it doesn't look good. I'm talking the men don't look good, the women don't look good. I mean, by the way, I want to say you can have an awesome dress, but for the most part, the fashion they're pushing for this era, though, because you always had a nice dress, but it just does not look good. It's not complimentary. It's almost like it's anti. It's like it in itself is a rebellion against true good fashion. Mm-hmm. So the only thing that works today is the stuff that worked in the past, and I don't think that comes from any like you can't say okay, boomer. No, I think most people would agree. Older fashion works. So the other fashion, if you're not wearing something like, a gentleman's attire or a lady's attire, it's T-shirts. People have really gotten into the T-shirt and jeans era. I realized my wardrobe itself has consisted more of just graphic T-shirts than anything. I was like, oh, man, I need to change it.
I went through that phase, like, end of high school for the first, 10 years of adulthood where I just didn't want to, because I used to get dressed up all the time, and for a brief period, I say brief, but maximum of 10 years.
Yeah.
Basically my Marine Corps days, It was just graphic tees. It was just would say something like, I heart my wiener or whatever. And it would have a wiener dog on it or something silly.
Chewbacca rules, Yeah. Yeah, and that's fine. And it's still trendy and it's still fun to have. But if that's your one, for a while, that's all I wore. My wife encouraged it. She's like, just get something fun for a change. I was like, okay, and then I liked it, and I ran too far with it, and now it's like, oh, I'd rather get into my older style wardrobe as well and have a nice mix, and that's fine, and so that's why I like to encourage people to dress in the era in which you're referencing as probably the better era for when it came to fashion altogether, because I like the self-respectability of it.
I also think that it's nice because you actually don't even have to have much of a sense of style, in the respect of everybody's wearing nice dress pants, nice dress either coat, vest, whatever, but you're just matching colors.
Well, at this point, at that point, because I think what was lacking in that era, what were the louder colors. Yeah. I guarantee you never saw a tie like this, but that's where we can say that's what this modern era will bring is you can wear a yellow banana suit and still make it look sharp. They had done that throughout that's in the last 50, 60 years. Match your colors, but maintain the style of the 20s. That's a win.
Yeah, I think that it would be really cool if we got back to dressing like the 20s. I think that's nice fashion. But I mean, there's a lot of people that would disagree with that. I don't think that fashion is for everybody. I think that some of the stuff that I see is just way over the top, just attention grabbing material. Yeah. It's there's something simplistic about wearing basically the same thing every day.
Yeah.
Just different colors or different cuts.
And also, again, even not down to whether it's man or a woman, modesty. I like modesty. I think that's pretty neat. So,
I think that we were definitely talking more about the men's fashion for that time frame, but the women's fashion for that time frame, I mean, explain that.
Well, okay, so here's something. I didn't have my wife. I didn't propose this to my wife. I didn't suggest it, but there was a time period there. She herself just kind of thought, I want to start wearing my hair different. This is probably about 10, 12 years ago. And she started doing what's, you know what fascinators are? She would make the headdresses and have just something on it, like how ladies would wear on their hats or their veils or something. And whether it was a big accenting bow or just something beautiful. She made fascinators, and that was her thing. That was about the time I started collecting these, my hats. And I was like, or maybe it was because of my hats. I don't know. Maybe she was inspired. But she had this thing with the fascinators, and I know that was a big thing in the 20s, at least in that era. And if it wasn't that, it was just a nice, elegant dress. It didn't have to be Cinderella, but just a nice dress. Mm-hmm. And that was enough.
Yep.
By the way, who wouldn't love the accessories on something like that, man or woman? I think a gentleman's scarf is fantastic. I think even more so than a wristwatch, which as efficient as they are, I'm gonna love a gentleman's timepiece, like we had on episode 3. That's I love pocket watches, and women, they have the gloves that go up here. If they smoke, they can have the cigarette holder, and that's a Cruella de Vil look fur. So it's not. I think
Cruella ruined that for everybody.
that became the villain look.
Yeah.
And and that's fine. Even the gentleman's look, I think, kind of became a standard villain thing thanks to the James Bond era, because he was more tuxedo.
Are you a tuxedo guy or are you a suit guy?
I'm definitely a suit guy. I've worn tuxedos obviously at my wedding or someone else's wedding, but I just prefer a nice suit, 3-piece or no 3-piece. I like the fact that you have your jacket. I like the fact that you got your vest and you can wear either one, either or, and there's a lot of variety there. And it's just the feel of a suit.
Yeah.
I mean, the suit makes the man.
I really like wearing, like, it's probably already evident in the episodes that we've done, but I really love rocking like a dress shirt with like black slacks, a black vest.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could rock a dress shirt with a black vest over and over and over and never get tired of it. I like some gray vests, but I really just like the look of a black vest. It makes it so much simpler to like really accentuate the colors that you want to wear.
Here's a cool thing about fashion before I get and still pop culture. And by the way, I always liked, I don't know if that's just like a British thing, but like the vest over there, I think they call it a waistcoat. And I think that's pretty neat. And I was like, okay, so a waistcoat. If that's the same thing, correct me for fans across the pond. But there was a show, again, Doctor Who. And the thing about Doctor Who, they were smart and started switching up the actors throughout the run of the show. And that's a good way to give it longevity. To prolong the Doctor's life, if say he has an injury or he's just too old, he literally regenerates into a new person. Same memory, just new personality quirks, and specifically new wardrobe. And one of the things, I know a lot of people in Britain especially will base their wardrobe on the history of Doctor Who, and looking at how the first Doctor had it in 1963 to how the my favorite Doctor from like 2014 to 2017, man, I seriously wouldn't mind having a nice velvet, like a jacket. It's just a good looking jacket. So, I'm not saying I'm a Doctor Who copier, but I'm just like, it opened my eyes to a fashion world I didn't think possible.
You know what we should bring back?
What?
Corduroy.
Corduroy.
Don't bring back corduroy.
So we're gonna have a future guest on, and he'll tell you about the band we wanted to form and everything we laid out because we had the recording equipment. We were gonna lay down some tracks. That was our thing. Lay down some tracks, and we were gonna wear brown corduroy, and that was gonna be our thing. I'd be hot. But brown corduroy and and suits and have the ties and everything. We were going to be called the Superhuman Intellectual Types. That was the name of our band, the Superhuman Intellectual Types. We were the shit, and the shit was coming to town. And by the way, we were in brown corduroy to imply the shit. Anyway, so it was a funny gimmick.
I was picking up what you were putting down.
Okay, yeah, for our other audience members. But yeah, we'll have him on the show, and we'd love to have him talk about the inspiration for and where we took this journey with the Superhuman.
Do you remember the band name of the group that I was in when I was younger?
No, I remember we did talk about it. I can't remember the name.
Our band name was Frantic Banana Blanket.
I actually have no memory of that. So
what?
I don't remember that. Frantic Banana Blanket?
Yeah, Frantic Banana Blanket was our band name.
Well, okay, so what was the gimmick? It was just the name?
It was just the name.
Okay, so would you allow the Superhuman Intellectual Types open for the Frantic Banana Blanket?
I think that we should start it because we have the energy. You guys could headline, and we'll just start it off.
Okay.
We played at like basketball games, and
okay,
like it used to be the jazz band. The jazz band would always start the basketball games, but then we started doing it, and it was kind of cool because like we would play like Highway to Hell or whatever when they'd start walking out.
So here's where I turn to Bobby Boucher's mama. Technically, we never played a gig.
Yeah.
Or got to the practicing stage. But we had everything else lined up to go, and we just didn't push forward with it. But again,
just the follow through was lacking, I guess.
Just a bit. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, brown corduroy or just corduroy in general. I mean, everything has its purpose.
I only think I had one pair of corduroy pants. I actually bought my mom at a garage sale one time this jean jacket that was like super long. It was like from Like she put it on and it went all the way to her feet. And
Was it meant for a tall person? Or it was just from an era.
I don't know, but it was like the black and white, like acid wash looking jean jacket.
Yeah.
And I got this for her. It was super thick. And I was at a garage sale, like right down the road. I was a kid. I had a couple bucks. And so I tried to be nice, and I bought her this jean jacket for like $2 at the garage sale. And I brought it home. I was so proud of it. And my mom loved me so much that she rocked that thing so many times. She probably still remembers that jean jacket.
Okay, so props to you, Mama Mac, whether you actually liked it or not, the fact that you rocked it.
I think she just like eventually just succumbed to the fact that she wore it.
And then she loved it. But yeah, I love parents are good like that. Parents are really good like that.
I would.
My father taught me to be a competent pool player. Mm-hmm. Or I'm like, yeah, I was winning all the time, and I was like, I'm the man, and I think I'm pretty decent at pool. And then we hadn't played in years, and then a few years ago, my brother was in town, and so it got to be a little low key family night. My brother, my sister, myself, and my dad. We went to go hang out at pool hall, and had some drinks, ate some food, and then we started playing pool. Man, you know what I learned that night?
What?
My dad smoked my ass. I'd never seen him play that well, and I said, "Dad, were you like?" He wasn't letting me win, but he was letting me learn the game in a way that, and also build comp. Now, granted, I should have learned. I actually had a good sportsman-like conduct. I knew how to lose well enough, so that wasn't a problem. But man, I was refining my skill. He's like, "Good job, son. Good job." He was encouraging, and that's how I think I became decent. But then I guess the not being a child anymore, he smoked my ass, and I went, "I had no idea you were this good." It blew my mind. And it's not that he said anything. I said, "Dad, did you do this when we were younger?" He just goes, I said, "You're a pool shark. You're a freaking shark." And I think he smoked me and my brother. And so that was a good time. But anyway, that's pretty cool how parents can do that. But I digress.
My dad smoked me at chess, and I grew up wanting to be better at chess. I was like smoking all the kids my age at chess.
Yeah.
And then one day I beat him and rubbed it in his face. He called me a sore winner because I was like so excited. I was like, I finally beat him. I was just like, yeah, I'm the best. And then he said, I'll never play with you again because you're a sore winner. And
he's held that since childhood, right?
I mean, the last time I remember playing with him was like 11 years old, maybe.
Yeah, it's been that long.
Yeah. I think it was good. It was good to learn humility at a young age.
Yes. My dad and I, this is where we had our Mario Kart or our Golden Eye, where we compete on each other, and we were, I think, on pretty even ground. We were really good at the game. But anytime, if I was just having an off day, and I do apologize, Father, let's play Street Fighter, knowing I'm going to probably eviscerate him because he was good at the fighting portion of it, but what he didn't have memorized were the moves. So he can duck, dodge, defend, punch, kick, everything that's going to knock you down, and all I got to fireball, uppercut. He's like, how the hell do you do that? So sorry, my fragile teenage ego was at stake. But anyway, again, that's how it was. It was fun growing up, good learning lessons, and now that we're adults, we have a strong sense of fashion. Mm-hmm. So, awkward seg.
I don't know how we got so far away from fashion. Fashion led us here to our childhood memories with our fathers.
And video games and games and how sportsmanship and blah, blah, blah. Either way.
Sportsmanship is important.
That's how it is very important. And that's how crazy our takes can go. Any take can just go one way or another. You know which direction it's going to go. Similar to the crazy take. All right, Mac, what do you got for us on Friday?
So, how would you feel if you had an option between spending 1 year, one solid year in prison, or for the rest of your life, starting now, you have rancid body odor that you can't get rid of?
Rancid body odor.
Yeah, like everybody around you smells your body odor.
Now, when we say, are we encompassing the whole body here? Like, not just because when people say body odor, oh, you got BO, it's not just the armpits. We're talking everything that could probably smell smells, or is it just the armpits?
Yeah. Everything that smells could smell.
Everything from every region. Okay, gotcha. You got everything from athlete's foot to your jockets to the butt butter and then the armpits. So rancid body odor the rest of my life. There's no hiding it. I'm the stinky man, or 1 year in prison.
Yeah.
You know,
And all that entails.
and all the, okay. Okay, let's go around here. Let's just go around here. Let's just see. No matter what I do, no matter what chemical product I do, I'm gonna stink.
Yeah.
There's no answer for it. And my wife can't stand the sight or smell of me. My friends, we have to hang out on like Zoom or something. I have to sit in the back of the church, and even then the fan's got to be on. It's like I can't even hear. And I got to go to work, and they'll get on to me about my hygiene.
Yeah.
It's just a rough thing. Or I do a year prison.
Yeah.
So in prison,
Not jail, prison.
And then I'm guessing you want to pick like a notorious facility, like say San Quentin, or just prison,
generic prison,
just prison in the general sense. Gotcha, because
prison.
That'll determine what gang I have to join. The tats I get.
I mean, it's pretty much the same no matter where you go. Right. You're getting Aryan Nation tattoos.
I don't know. There's some cards I can pull.
You're not getting MS-13 tattooed on you.
What if I go in with the tats that Post Mac Malone had?
You wouldn't want to do that.
Gotcha.
I'm just gonna tell
Duly noted. Okay, so live with that the rest of my life, or choose to go to prison for a year. Well, you know what? Fine, I'm going to prison for a year.
365 days.
365 days. You know what's funny about this hypothetical? I had a dream very recently that I was going to be in prison for a year. I'm not even kidding. For whatever reason, I didn't know if I watched a movie or read a book. It was real. That first day was there. I was sentenced, and it says 1 year. And I remember they told I wouldn't be allowed any visitors. It was that hardcore of a prison. So I'm just thinking, man, a year of my life is about to be stolen away from my family and everything I knew. And that's not fair to them at all, by the way. I remember that dream thinking, God, they're just probably going to be devastated. Let's just hope. And I went through the whole day of that in prison. It was weird how that dream was so vivid. Went there, I went and got my food. I just kind of low key interacted, didn't really do much. And by the end of that night, I was into my cell. And I don't know. Let's just say the
you
dream.
Just want to stop the story there. You went to your cell.
But this is reality. I'm not getting out. I'm going to be serving 1 year, and possibly at risk if something has to happen. Had years added to my sentence. So that's a gamble. Let's go to prison.
Really? Things happen in prison.
Oh, I know. Trust me. Prison movies, whether it's Escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood, based on a true story, whether it was Oz, the HBO prison show that ran 6 seasons, whether it's one of my favorite movies, Blood In, Blood Out, where there's so much about prison gangs I learned just in that movie alone. I'm all about those prison movies, and I see, even an Innocent Man with Tom Selleck, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a place you don't want to go. Because I'll ask this in the hypothetical sense, and of course you're going to shoot it down. Is there any way, if I get into prison, that I steal that method where I'm just gonna hit a guard as hard as I can and be thrown in solitary, and then when I come out of solitary, hit another guard. Just spin that 365 in solitary to where I am pretty much not on anyone's radar, really, other than I don't have to be anyone's boyfriend.
No.
Okay.
You can't do that because even if you hit guards, like that's. You talk about extending your sentence. That's going to do it. That's one of the easy ways to extend your sentence.
Okay, so if I somehow ended up so if I don't hit a guard, but I do something that gets me put in solitary, is that, again, that's almost too easy, but that's probably, I would be looking for that easy way out first. So if you eliminate that for me.
If they know you're trying to get out of general pop, then they're not going to give you the benefit of getting you out.
So they're going to know I do it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the scenario. Got it.
It's like, it's not the scenario. That's prison actual. Like if they know that you're trying to do things to avoid being,
and even if I try to go bananas and try to go to the insane asylum route, they're just going to see right through it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
because that's like 95% of people on their first attempt.
Right.
Like they go down that same path.
Well, I'm at risk for losing my life. I'm at risk for a lot of things. The more I'm thinking about it, honestly, the more I'm thinking about it. All right. Hope you all enjoy how I smell. Yeah. I'm gonna walk that back.
I thought so.
I mean, I could face any situation. I'm just realizing I'm starting to not want to.
Yeah.
So that's not lack of courage. I'm just realizing, like, why do the risk? There is a risk something can go wrong and go against your plan. Because no matter what I said or try to make it easy, not I was going to go the solitary route, not that I was going to try to go the crazy route. It's just, even if I try to make it easy on myself, life doesn't do that to you. People aren't like that, and it's just not good. So yeah, I'm not going to risk that. So my question is, I'm guessing you're going to join me in this stinky man journey.
I honestly think I'd do the prison one.
And so, posing the same scenarios to you, are you going to go? Well, here's the thing: you don't want to risk going berserk, like come at me, mofo's. But at the same time, do you think you could establish a dominance there and keep people at bay if you just did one thing, or what? How do you keep yourself protected for a year?
I think I mean, in any scenario where you're outnumbered or caught off guard, like you're obviously gonna suffer the consequences of that. Like nobody that goes into prison is going to be able to fight off a group of people.
Right.
You know, when they're taken, you know, they're standing in the shower by themselves, and all of a sudden 5 dudes walk. I mean, I'm not Superman, so.
And
I mean,
you wish you could be like,
if they want to beat the crap out of you, they're going to beat the crap out of you.
You know, your guard will be down.
I feel like if I was in prison, I'd do pretty well for myself most of the time. I mean, there's going to be some unfortunate scenarios where I get my, you know.
So when Team Ramrod shows up when you're in prison,
dude, so that's the part that everybody's the most scared of. But I honestly, not everybody that goes to prison gets it. You know, I don't know. I mean, that's the unfortunate roll of the dice. I don't think that if I went to prison,
would you be willing to risk that though?
If I went to prison, I would not be somebody's bitch. I can be assured of that.
And what if it's ride or die at that point? You have to kill. You're at this point are now risking personal injury to yourself or extending your time.
I'm telling you, I'd play the game. Like if I went to prison, whether it's for a week, over 10 years, as soon as I get there, I'm going to manipulate the situation around me. I'm going to align with who I need to align with, and I'm going to group with who I need to group with. I'm not stupid enough to think that I'm going to stand alone and be on my own. But nobody knows how long I'm going to be there either.
Nice. Okay. Well, I mean,
I don't know. I'd roll the dice.
That's a risk. I mean, yeah, and sometimes you got to roll the dice. But all right. Well, good crazy take. That's a pretty messed up scenario. I'm gonna walk the stinky line.
I'm gonna take my stint.
You're gonna be hardened.
I'm gonna take my stint.
Right on. You're gonna look like Post Malone, I think, when it's all said and done.
Hey, I'd be tattooed up. Let's do this thing.
Let's go. And if you got a spiderweb tattoo on your elbow, I know what happened. Anyway, all right. Well, how about then we issue a gentleman's challenge?
I'm down.
A gentleman's challenge: the reveal of the better man and the reveal of the lesser man. Today's going to be, again, quite simple. Many of you probably remember this game. Farkle.
Never played it.
It was I didn't know about it until it became famous on the Facebook gaming era of, like, say, Farmville. Farkle was a thing. That's the one that kind of won me in. And I was addicted to playing this game. So Farkle is similar to Yahtzee, but today we're playing Gentleman's Farkle. So the rules are simple. So you have 6 dice in the barrel. Mm-hmm. The first to 5,000 points will win. So you take the dice, you shake it up, you dump it out, and you're looking for either 3 of a kind.
Okay.
Or you're looking for the point pieces. So your point pieces are going to be 1s and 5s.
Okay.
Both 1s is 100 points, 5 is 50.
Okay.
Now, if let's say you get 3 6s, that's 600 points. And if you get like 2 5s and 1 1, that's going to be 800 points. Now, the risk is you could farkle out. And if you farkle out, that's if you don't land 3 of a kind or you don't land one of the point numbers. And if you get, say, 2 3s and 4s, and that's it, and not 3 of a kind, then you farkle. Whatever points you have gained in that round, you lose.
So not the total points, just that round.
You lose the points you would have earned in that round.
Okay.
So what I can do, let's say I get 3 of a kind, 3 4s, that's 400 points. I don't feel safe about gambling with that 400 points with the remaining 3 pieces. Then I can just end my turn.
Okay.
And we go on. So we're going to build to our goal number score.
And you can go as many times as you want.
As many times as you want until you farkle out or run out of dice.
What if I get 5 that match on the very first roll?
Oh, if you get 5 that match, then yeah, the score adds up in your favor. Let's say you got 5 of a kind. First of all, you'd be wise to put it back in the barrel and call it a day and keep those points.
Right. How many points is that? Say I get 5 6s.
So if you get 4 of a kind, and that's going to be 1,000 points. And then 5 of a kind is 2,000 points. And then 6 of a kind is 3,000 points.
So basically all I need to do is roll 6 of a kind on the first and second turn and I win.
That simple.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
The way to determine who goes first.
Roll a die.
High number.
High number wins?
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Oh, I got a 1 too. Cool. You win.
All right. I'll go first.
Game on.
Here we go. And alrighty. That will be, I gotta claim that.
Oh, this one too?
Oh yeah, well, I don't have to claim it.
No. It was just an option.
Oh, thank you.
So gambling the 200 points right now.
Ooh. I'll go ahead and sit at 400. Got my 400 here.
Oh.
We see 300 points.
I'm going to do the same thing you did.
Okay, cool.
I'm just going to take the 300 and call it a day.
Okay. That's fair.
I'll play the odds.
What am I looking at here?
That's it.
Okay.
You almost botched that one.
Sure did. I will take my 300. Ooh.
Holy smokes. Okay, so that's what?
That's 1,000 points.
I'll just take the grand.
Right on.
I'm not risking it.
Unless you like to live dangerously. Wow. I will take that. And let's do slow and steady.
350?
350.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I will take that 500
Okay.
and be done.
All right.
You got 3 5s, man.
There we go. So 500 and 600.
Yep.
I'll stay.
It's a good choice. I will take my 700 points.
Daggum, dude. Wow.
Okay, so the score after 5 rounds is JD 2000, Mac 2800.
All right then. Let's see if we can change that up dramatically. This is the one right here. 6 6s. Away!
That's an evil thing to be rolling.
It is an evil thing to be rolling. I'm gonna gamble.
You're gonna gamble your 300.
I'm gonna gamble my 300. Ah!
It's looking like you busted.
Shit! That's called a farkle. I farkled.
A few moments later.
Ooh. You want to try to go
I'll
for
take my 600. You got 4 5s.
Ooh. Numbers one. Okay. All right. My 1,000 points. I accept. Thank you very much. Whew.
You just cut that lead down. significantly.
Look at the draw. That's right.
Oh, that was a 2.
That'd have been badass.
It's still a 2. It really wants to be. So that's 1,000.
I think it's more. Or so yeah, 1,000, 1,200. That's yeah. Damn, the 2s are favoring you. You say, give me my 500, please.
That's all you want?
Yeah, I'm gonna play it safe. That Farkle really burned me.
I will take my victory.
Oh, is it over?
Yeah, I'll take my victory, I said.
Oh. All right then.
So the ending score is 5,100 to 3,500.
Unless you wanted to double down.
No.
No. Okay. You know, when I used to play Farkle back in the day, anytime there was a loss or something didn't work out in your favor, it had this narrator go. It would tell you how excellent roll, Farkle, and if you did that, epic fail. That epic fail used to piss me off.
I think that you had a couple really bad rolls, and that was the only difference.
Sure.
Sure.
That's all I can say. I mean, that's exactly. That's a game of chance. I accept my loss.
I saw the 3 5s, and I was 99% sure I was 400 away. So I was good with just calling it at that.
Right. Yeah. You felt comfortable.
But it was fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely fun. I think we should do
definitely
Farkle
fun.
again.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
That 2 thing was utterly ridiculous.
The 2 one? Dude, when it fell on the ground, it was a 2.
Yeah.
And then you kicked it over here, and it was a 2.
2.
And
then
then
you
I rolled
rolled
it on the table, and it was a 2.
It almost looked like it was going to be a 2 before it fell.
Yeah, it's like, I'm a 2.
I think we have a dice in there that is completely nothing but 2s.
Then why didn't it 2 for you?
I'm just saying. You did something. No. Anyway.
I think that it's good time to go to the Comeuppance.
For the lesser man.
JD,
Yeah.
as the lesser man, do you remember a few episodes ago how I taught you how to make this Sheboygan special?
Yes.
You remember that episode? So,
I do.
My culinary expertise, there's one thing that I didn't get to make for you during that episode,
Yeah.
and it was a omelet. So, the reason I didn't make you an omelet on that episode was because generally I would need a partner to help me make the omelet.
Yeah.
And now I have a partner, the lesser man.
I am your lesser man.
So I'm going to have you help me prepare the eggs for an omelet.
Okay. Well, I always like to be there to help. So whatever I need to do to help you prep this omelet.
Well, I would say you probably need a towel and you probably need to take off your hat.
Oh, one of those omelets. The lesser man accepts. Oh, what's this?
Just so happens to be a towel.
I think this might have been from Tuesday's episode, The Onion. You're right. I would love to have an omelet.
It didn't break.
Ow! Ow! Same spot! Put me out of my misery!
I did. You told me. How hard do you have to hit it? I think you're bleeding. I think you're bleeding.
That was a hard hit! Oh my gosh.
I'm being sincere when I say I think you're bleeding.
Oh, yeah. Well. Whew. You know, I'm going to go ahead and say it's unfortunate it didn't break 2 times. That might have been hotter than the tortilla. Woo! Okay.
I couldn't tell if I went too hard or not hard enough because
I was seeing stars.
it sounded painful, but it wasn't hard enough to break it. I am so thankful I didn't do it the one in each cheek strategy.
Ooh.
That would have been brutal.
Oh, man. All right. So do you think would this be a good omelet?
Yeah, those eggs are definitely ready for omelet.
Sweet. Okay. All right, because I feel pretty scrambled right now. I'm feeling pretty scrambled. Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. I can't believe the egg didn't break 2 times.
Wait. I feel like a blind. Are you satisfied?
Yeah.
All right, so it's today's lesson, man. I think we could just go into the hot take now.
Sure, Stevie Wonder. Dun, dun, dun.
What are you thinking on today's hot take?
I think that I'll take it away and let you reassess and gather your thoughts, come back from concussion protocol.
Yeah, I think my thoughts are actually over there. I'm going to gather them.
Okay.
Get knocked out.
So my hot take is specifically tailored to where I live. This is the first city that I've ever lived in that appears as if businesses don't want your business. So my hot take is if you're open, your lights and everything need to remain on as if you are open until you are not open. And then you turn off your stuff. So when I worked at a grocery store growing up, I was in charge of like locking the doors and everything. And when it was 10 o'clock, but no minute before 10 o'clock, did we turn off the sign in front, right? I locked the doors at 10 o'clock. If you came in the store at 9:58, you were kind of a douche, but you still got to come in. And then I would tell you, hey, we have 2 minutes till the store closes, so please hurry up and gather your items and come to the front. Basically, here, if a place is closing at 11:30 or midnight, they'll shut their signs off at like 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And you'll drive up to them and you'll be like, hey, are you guys open? They'll be like, yeah. Just like, of course we are. But it's like, all your signs are off. The parking lot is black. Like, I would have no way of knowing that you were open. Mm-hmm. And as a business owner, if I ran one of those establishments and I showed up and you have all the lights off and you're basically just running money away from my business, I would be livid. You would instantly be terminated. I think that it's ridiculous for people. I understand, like, if it's 5 till and you just really had a hard day and you just want to go home and you're shutting it down, that's one thing. But they literally will do it 2 hours early.
A business should then say on their advertisement, if you want our full menu or our really good stuff, including the milkshake that on the machine, try to get our hours are from 10 to 10, but try to get there by no later than 9. Well, say that.
I'm pretty sure that Brahms is one of the places that we have around here. Their lights are never out before they're shut down.
Yeah.
And they close at 10:30. But yeah. I'm pretty sure that they close at 10:30 because they want their employees to be done at 11. So they shut at 10:30. Mm-hmm. So that the sign goes out and people are supposed to be there pre-10:30. It gives them 30 minutes to clean up and get out. So, I mean, Brahms is exactly the type of business that I'm talking about doing it properly. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of places around here. Okay, so McDonald's is one. Whataburger's one. IHOP. Somehow, even though it's 24/7, their lights are off half the time. I mean, stuff like that.
Everything screams go away.
Stuff like that just doesn't make sense. Like, how do you run a business that doesn't want to make money? That's frustrating to me. But this is the first place I've ever noticed it, where they appear as if they're not open for no reason.
Yeah.
So that's my hot take. Keep your lights on if you're open. If you're closed, by all means, turn your lights off.
It's just that simple.
Yeah, it's really simple. But this is, I haven't been many places that are like that. So
Now, granted, I understand customers can be some real buttholes, but at the same time, your job is customer service, and yes, it sucks you have to take it. But even to the ones that are trying to work with you and understand, be kind to them. That is still your job.
yeah,
I digress. So,
I don't think some people understand that.
No,
It's like
it's
I
lost.
have no. So wherever you work, whether it's at McDonald's or freaking Boeing, wherever you work,
Yeah.
you have a duty to take care of that company and make them money.
Yeah.
That's why they employ you.
You're representing the brand.
So if you don't want to make them money, then you can't work for them. That's all there is to it. So I understand that it doesn't make any difference to you whether they sell 50 Happy Meals or 2 Happy Meals in a day. You're still supposed to try to sell 50 Happy Meals.
Yeah. Hey, I agree with you on that hot take. It's pretty piss poor when it happens. So I'll go into my hot take.
Excited to hear it.
All right, here we go. So let me just read off some names here. You're going to have Dutch. You're going to have John Matrix, John Rambo, John McClane, Cobra Minetti, Ray Tango, Gabriel Cash, Martin Riggs, Roger Murtaugh, Gabe Walker, Max Walker, Nico Tonelli. All these names represent the action stars, the characters of old. These were names played by people like Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Bruce Willis, Steven Seagal, Jean-Claude Van Damme. So all of these names are part of franchises or just singular action movies where they're just absolutely legendary. The modern era of Hollywood is where it is today because of action movies and action film stars and characters. We don't have that anymore. We lost it. And they tried it with the Jason Bourne movies in the early 2000s, and they're okay. It did kind of up Matt Damon for me. Like, he wasn't so much a Streisand anymore. He was more of a, hey, all right. But again, it was still missing something. And I know Jason Statham's tried to bring that back, but I mean, all these things were trying, but it was dead. It's like they didn't want the larger-than-life action star anymore. They didn't want that. They didn't want masculine men who went mano a mano to get stuff done. They started going with the troubled heroes and the heroes that were conflicted, and the more the message got pushed, that was bad, toxic masculinity. So the action star was dead. Now, it had a brief resurgence under, say, Schwarzenegger after he was the governor of California, and it came back slightly with a few movies with Sylvester Stallone. But again, we're relying on the stars of old. They made some great movies in the 2010s. But again, we shouldn't have to rely on the old guard. Bruce Willis, same thing. We shouldn't have to rely on the old guard. The Expendables movies were proof of that. And again, a nod to an older time. But we had no modern stars. They tried, it seemed like, with Chris Hemsworth. Not it. Chris Pratt. Not it. And so this is where my hot take is. And I know I've spoken to a lot of people that just say, oh, it's just stupid action, this and that. John Wick is the action character and action star we needed for this genre. This era that carried the movies to where we are now and made all the money. But we need an action star, and John Wick is just that. People say it's repetitive. How many times can you shoot people? How can you survive all those scenarios and not be killed yourself? Doesn't matter. The stories were compelling if you're paying attention, and each one of them had its own unique spin on it. But it culminates with John Wick 4 that's currently out and has been making a ton of money. You wouldn't believe the financials on it. It is booming. It's stronger its second week than it is the first. And it is just impressive. So we need more action heroes to look up to. And even if it's in the style of the old way, we need new action stars. And I'm going to say, like I said, Statham tried, but again, that wasn't catching fire. It's like almost they wouldn't let it. Jet Li tried, same thing. No, but John Wick, he broke through and he became the man. Keanu Reeves became the action star of the era, but keep in mind, he's been around for over 30 years. His time is coming to an end. He can't carry it forever. We need a new action star. And so also another person they tried with, but I'm sorry, he had a cool movie or two, Liam Neeson. Taken was cool. But again, they let the franchise down. The Taken series, I think they made 3 of them, and maybe even a series. You have to have good scenarios for your hero to be in. You don't have to do the sequel traps where a bigger and better just must be. It's not always the be all end all. There's reasons why the franchises, the ones that were franchises that were successful, is because they weren't trying to be bigger and better. They gave us more of what we liked in character development and actual story. On top of it, just being macho action stars, you cared about the characters. You saw yourself with the characters, and they're you in every sense. The blue collar worker. So there are no modern action stars today outside of John Wick. I can't think of anybody right now. Can you?
I am not thinking of any that ring out as action stars.
I said there are certain other actors who try to pull it off in some one-off experiences. Then there's other ones you think that have the potential that they're just not capitalizing on. Those Hemsworths should have been the next big thing in action. The Rock. Okay, so I missed The Rock. The Rock is that also the action star, but the problem is he's not making too many of those. Outside of sticking with a Fast and Furious franchise, which I'm telling you, it's fatigued and has jumped the shark many movies ago. But The Rock should have and could have been more than he has been so far. And now it's almost like The Rock's kind of taking a step back in Hollywood's eyes. They're not wanting to push it, but it's like he was held back anyway.
Well, he's done. I think that his problem for being the action star that we need, or whatever you're saying, is that he went comedic. And he's played a lot of comedic roles, so it's
and to be
it
fair,
kind of takes away from it.
And so did Mel Gibson, Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's just, you have those in your library, your filmography. That's fine, but you have like say Sylvester Stallone came back to do Rocky in the form of the Creed films, and so he does the Creed films. Okay, cool. That is absolutely how you do it. That is how you bring back an older star, and that is how you pass the torch, and that's how you still pay respect to the genre or the generation that came before. That was one of the best movies I'd seen.
So you don't think Michael B. Jordan is?
Here's the thing: Michael B. Jordan. Then they should have taken off with him. They should have done more with him, not necessarily in the action role, but the roles he was in. It's just like it's ensemble, or he's trying to go for an Oscar, and he was in one of the Marvel movies, Black Panther. It was kind of cool to see him in that role, but then of course they kill him off. Spoiler warning. What's the point of establishing a character if you're only going to use him one time? But then keep around annoying characters. Anyway, I digress. Michael B. Jordan should have been in so much more. And they did try to put him in a Tom Clancy type role on Amazon. I think it was called Without Remorse. I'm sorry. It's almost like, again, he made this movie in an era where they don't want to make action movies or solid films where he's a believable anything. But he did just come out with Creed 3. And I do want to see that. And I think he is solid in those films. But it's just like, why aren't you capitalizing on this guy? He even said he wanted to do a Superman role, which, there never was a black Clark Kent, which is what they really want to push, but there was a black Superman called Val Zod. And it's like, let him do Val Zod. He wants to do Val Zod. No, he's got to be a black Clark Kent. Why? Let him be Val Zod. Clearly he wants to be, he wants to represent an established black character. But again, so they're holding him back, therefore being held back. There we have no action stars today anymore, other than outside of Keanu and maybe The Rock for a few films that he had. And it doesn't look like we're setting up for any more in the future either. Because right now, all the ones that could still be passing the torch, passing that mantle, man, they're aging out here. Bruce Willis retired. Mel Gibson's about to retire.
Well, The Expendables isn't a good example of...
They got one more movie coming.
Like the older crew and the younger crew grouping up. Mm-hmm. Ronda Rousey was in one of those. We talked about her. Yeah,
she was in the third one. If I'm going to continue to watch movies... Tom Cruise, by the way, has been trying to pull that off. His Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible series, fantastic. But that's more
You're a big Mission Impossible guy?
Huge Mission Impossible guy. I've loved it since the first film in the franchise, which everyone says is boring. I'm like, no, it's not.
You don't think it got too crazy, though? Like,
I
understand it's Mission Impossible, but at the same time, you don't think it's just too overboard?
Well, Mission Impossible 2, the sequel, which is directed by John Woo, the man of international action, was a bit over the top for me. Like, had it not gone back to its roots in 3, where it basically... First one was spy and espionage and just good story. Not as much action. The second one was all action. The third one blended it, had the perfect marriage.
The second movie is what drove me away from Mission Impossible. I never came back.
That was hard for a lot of people. That's why they weren't willing to give 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 a chance. But man, I'm telling you,
rethink that.
I would recommend rethinking it, because if you enjoyed the concept, Mission Impossible 3, it got back to its roots and found its footing. 4 is amazing. 5 is really good. 6 is unbelievable.
I have a lot of respect for Tom Cruise acting.
Yeah.
After I watched that scene where he does the jump across roofs.
Oh, yeah. It was Mission Impossible 6.
And he snapped his ankle.
Yeah.
And he just kept chugging. So I got a lot of respect for him for that.
He left that in the film.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see him hobbling.
You can see where he smacked the building.
Yeah, he snapped his freaking ankle.
Ugh, yeah.
That's impressive.
Tom Cruise is... I wouldn't call him an action star, but he does action very well. If I actually look back, he's done a lot of action movies. So
yeah, he's pretty much only action, except for like Jerry Maguire,
Vanilla Sky. But yeah, so Tom Cruise. But again, I look at him as a versatile actor, not strictly as an action star. So I look forward usually to what he has to offer.
So what's the answer then? Who's out there now that could take the mantle and run with it?
God, it could be anybody.
Do you think it's?
I think it should be Henry Cavill.
Do you think it's an actor issue, or do you think it's that the directors don't write for that to happen anymore?
It's the culture of Hollywood. They don't allow that type of thing. So anyway, long story short, we need the action hero back. If Hollywood wants to make money, they'll do it, but it's like they just hate making money. And until they do, I said, outside of like these upcoming movies, Mission Impossible, Indiana Jones, I'm retiring from just going to see new movies. There's nothing out there for me anymore.
That's very sad for you.
They hate money. I mean, it's just not important to me. And they've shown me that I'm not important. So,
but what I'm saying is, as somebody who loves film
Yeah.
and loves TV so much,
Yeah.
for you to just be like, I'm done, I'm over it.
And walking away from movies, honestly, for me, is I still have a huge library I love. And I can watch anything I want and go back to and still discover things I've not seen yet. But not embracing new movies or TV shows, man, that opens me up for so much more in my hobby realm. I'm actually happy. That's why like music had bumped past television in our rating of culture. And even sports. Like I'm getting to watch more baseball because I'm not watching near the amount of movies I used to. And I'm happy with it. I'd rather give myself something that is fun and worth my time. I think we can go ahead and just wrap it up for the week on that. So I think this weekend I'll be seeing the Super Mario Brothers movie. That's something I'm looking forward to because that's something I always liked. So I'll be watching that tomorrow with some family and friends.
Super Mario Brothers movie.
Mm-hmm. Made in the same vein. Well, not quite the same vein, but it's like how Sonic was actually really good. You said you saw those movies? Yeah. This is going to be like that. Really, I was like, okay, cool. An actual good video game movie. I'm excited. So, yeah, I'll definitely be checking the Sonic films out as well. I hear they're both a good time. They made a lot of money, too. But, yeah, that's what I'm doing this weekend. So, I'll be going to the movies one more time, even though I said I'm done with movies. But that's how it is. I will never turn down a good time with the family. So, yeah, I think we covered everything else, though, in a manner most refined. And if I may say so myself, I think the hard, blunt truth came out during the Comeuppance segment. And emphasis on blunt. I feel like I've actually was in a Rocky movie. I was like, hey, yo, Adrian, give it all you got, But yeah. So I, again, accept my role as the lesser man for this Friday. And, hey, we'll see what next week brings. But today, congratulations, better man. Yep. And everything else that we covered, I believe we covered it, and it all came together to form a perfect take.
Or a gentleman's take.
Yes, indeed.
Take.
Alrighty, that was for Libby. Alrighty, well, until we meet again, be sure to sit back, sip some bourbon,
smoke a stogie,
and appreciate the finer things in life.
Again, I'm empty.
Wow.
You made me concussed.
The Audience Take.
We want to hear from you.
Any suggestions or requests for future takes, challenges, comeuppance, or criticisms, please email us at AGentlemansTakePodcast@gmail.com.
Don't forget to check out our Twitter and Instagram pages for exclusive content.